What's going on, everybody? It is Brett from Dissect That Film. For this week's Monster Zone, we are going back to the Patreon Vault, where we are pulling from all of our formerly Patreon exclusive episodes and releasing them to the world. So this week, we are re-releasing our coverage on 1953's The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. We recorded it all the way back in 2023, and we released it in 2024, but I figured I'd give you a newly edited, added some clips and some fun stuff to this episode, so I hope you enjoy the new version of the episode. Oh, lastly, we are part of a wonderful event called Livestream for the Cure. This year, it is May 16th through May 17th, where bunch of podcasters and content creators get together and try to raise money for the Cancer Research Institute, a event that has raised over $100,000 in the close to 9 years that they have been going. So it's an amazing event. So if you please go and check it out, and if you want to see us, all three of us from Dissect That Film, on a segment, make sure to tune in May 17th at 12 p.m. I don't know what we're doing yet, but it's going to be a good time, so make sure to help support. And yeah, thank you so much for everything you do for this show. Now, on to the episode of Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Let's go.
Do you like big things? I like big things. Do you like big monsters? That's my second favorite thing. Welcome to the Monster Zone.
Hello, everyone. How are you all doing today? Thank you very much for coming.
That was quite aggressive.
I know, I'm just popping into it. I was like trying to keep everybody on their toes. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about an influential film, I think. 1953 classic. I will say classic for this movie. I know, it's fine. We're good. 1953 classic, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
I say there are things better left unsolved.
Who knows what waits for us in nature's no man's land?
Impossible, unbelievable, fantastic. But I tell you, it could happen. It could happen. It could happen. It could happen.
Yes, it could happen. For various authorities believe that buried somewhere under the polar ice cap, in a state of suspended animation, are the awesome creatures, the leviathans that roamed the earth at the dawn of time. And under certain conditions, a nuclear explosion could free one from his icy tomb. And guided by instinct, the beast would come back to the caverns of the deepest Atlantic, where it was spawned. An armored giant, wreaking his prehistoric fury on modern man and his puny machine. Cities would be terrorized by the cruel intruder from the past. Populations crazed and panicked with fear by its destructive force. Granite and steel would crumble. Soldiers and their weapons would be powerless before the onslaught of the beast. The beast. The beast. The beast from 20,000 fathoms.
And I have an interesting story about this because my dad always told me about this movie, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. But the movie I grew up watching was a remake made 4 years later. Wait, 4 or 5 years later. It was 57 or 58. It was The Giant Behemoth, which is almost a remake of this fucking movie. And it was Willis O'Brien did that one too. Or Ray Harryhausen, I mean. Yeah. Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah.
And that's my weird connection. I didn't watch this till way later. My dad's like, oh, it's like Beast of 20,000 Fathoms. And anyhow, we'll get to that. But anyway, that's the movie we're talking about today with, of course, our esteemed co-host, Mr. Parker.
He's probably over here.
I don't care. I'm pointing.
Hello, Patreon.
He's somewhere. This way.
I'm below you with the override,
Oh,
but it's
hi.
okay. Don't worry about it.
He's down there.
With a lovely wife, Angela. There's your brand new car. Like, I just feel like one of those things.
Hey.
You're the ladies from The Price is Right. Like,
You gotta caress things. Not that. Anywho, and I'm Dan, of course. I'm the guy. I'm that guy. It's not the guy. I'm a guy. I'm not
you're
the
the
guy.
Dan.
I'm the Dan. Allegedly.
Show you something later.
Please don't.
Dan, it could be good for you.
Wow.
So-
No, whoa, wait, well, depends.
Mr. Parker, if you don't care to give us some riveting backstory here.
Oh man, this is exciting. So we were talking about the beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which I just want to mention that by the time you hear this episode, to our wonderful patrons over at the $5 tier, our Godzilla 98 episode will be out, which is a long one. And
Yes.
and it's a good one. So every minute of it is worth it.
What was that?
Hello?
Was that thunder?
Did my house just fall apart? Like, did my house just collapse? That was the loudest bit of thunder I've ever heard. I'm in the basement.
I can hear it
Jesus
over
Christ.
you.
Life. That was good.
Is everything okay?
Thought maybe somebody
Oh, you're
fell.
fine. Wait, where are you? Are you upstairs? Is the house okay? Jesus. I'm keeping all this in. I don't care.
No, that's great. No, I think this
holy
is wonderful.
Holy
Thanks
shit.
for
All right.
entertaining podcast.
So, yes, our Godzilla 98 episode is out by the time you hear this. And we mentioned this movie in that episode because Godzilla 98 definitely took a lot of influences from this movie. You know, where
Godzilla heard you talking about him. He's like, I got it.
Yeah.
She rigged
Got it.
it. She rigged the spin wheel we do for these shows. She had
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
have this
mean,
one.
I just click the spin button and I don't do anything else. But yeah, I rigged it.
So, yeah, this you could definitely see the influences in Godzilla 98, you know, where Godzilla emerges from the water in New York is the same exact spot that the beast emerges from in this movie. It's awesome. I love it when you can kind of point out these influences. Even though Godzilla 98 isn't a well-liked movie, it's great to see that it took some influences from a classic. But let's get to some of the people behind this movie. This movie was directed by Eugene Laurie, who this was his directorial debut in 1953. And then some other notable monster movies that he would do is The Colossus of New York, The Giant Behemoth, which I guess you said it was the remake, right?
Yeah, it's pretty
somewhat
much a remake. Yeah.
Which was 1959. Then he did a TV series called The World of Giants. Then his last movie he directed was called Gorgo in 1961. And he directed he's an uncredited director on, I guess he did some clips that were used in the 1977 Godzilla were shot by him, but he's uncredited. So that was his last director spot.
So the 77 Godzilla would have been the animated series. So that would have to be his involvement.
I guess it was the original. It was the colorized version of the original Godzilla.
Okay. Because I didn't realize they did that. I know Italy did one. They did a colorized version. I didn't realize. That's kind of neat.
But he was his career was mostly in the art department. Was art director, starting all the way back in 1932, and he would work all the way up until 1980, where he died in 1991.
That does suck. I hate that the fact that his last movie he directed is like, hey, let's make a British version of Godzilla, but make it fucking boring. So whenever we talk about that movie, this is just a spoiler for you guys.
Died of boredom.
Yes, that was it.
This movie was also written by Fred Freiberger, who wrote the movie we talked about earlier this month on the Monster Zone, with the beginning of the end. It was also written by Eugene Laurie, Louis Morheim, and Robert Smith. This was based on a story called The Foghorn by Ray Bradbury.
Yep.
It stars Paul Christian as our main character, Professor Tom Nesbitt. We have Paula Raymond as Lee Hunter. We have Cecil Kellaway as Dr. Thurgood Elson. Kenneth Tobey as Colonel Jack Evans. And yeah, that's pretty much your main cast there.
Lee Van Cleef.
Yeah.
What? Did I miss
Lee
something?
Van Cleef.
Oh, as Corporal Jason Stone.
Yeah,
Did you just like that name?
No, Lee Van Cleef. He was in a bunch of old spaghetti westerns and stuff.
Oh,
In the
okay.
set, he was working with Clint Eastwood and stuff like that.
He was in.
He's like, there's a few of these movies like this that he's like a B, like he's the dude that he was the marksman at the end of the movie on the roller coaster.
Okay.
That was him. I was like, what the fuck, Lee Van Cleef? And I'd like look at it. I was like, holy shit. But yeah, he was in a lot of old spaghetti westerns and shit like that. So
this was released June 13th, 1953. Ran at 80 minutes. It had a budget of $200,000 and made $5 million at the box office.
I want to say something else about this. Is you mentioned a short story by Ray Bradbury, Foghorn.
Yep.
There is an independent kaiju director that made a modern version of this called Howl from Beyond the Fog. I think it was. We watched it. It was made like 4 years ago, but it's all like the creature itself is all classic Toku props. Like it's an actual kaiju, but all the humans or the human characters are all puppets and mannequins. Almost like traditional theater public. It's a short movie. It's like 30 minutes. It's wonderful. And I just want to mention it because SRS Media, SRS Cinema, they do a lot of smaller stuff. They've been releasing some interesting, obscure kaiju stuff. Yeah. I know a guy that's involved in all that. I've known him for a long time, since my early YouTube days, Avery.
Yeah.
And they released that in the United States. So if you could find it, I recommend watching that as well.
So the story behind the inspiration to this movie, so Ray Harryhausen and Ray Bradbury were friends, and Ray Bradbury would visit him on the set because Ray Harryhausen is the one who's behind the creature design and effects in this movie, and they're brilliant. And he gave him the script, and he went over it, and he was like, some of these parts seem very familiar to a short story I wrote. So, and because his short story was literally about a monster attacking a lighthouse. And so he sold the rights to the idea for $2,000 and then changed the name of his short story to The Foghorn. And then they were able to change their movie title to The Beast of 20,000 Fathoms. So
there you go.
There you go.
And yeah, there's again, never mind. There's a lot more behind the scenes with this than the last one. It was the highest grossing film in 1953 at $5 million, which is a shit ton of money in today's dollars. I don't know the exact dollar. I don't know the exchange rate.
I'm going to look it up.
A lot.
You can keep going.
More than I'll ever
want
do.
to.
So a lot of the drawings that you see in the movie of like all the dinosaurs were actually done by one guy. He was a nature artist, and they just had him draw a bunch of dinosaur pictures. And it pretty much what he did was he took dinosaur designs from like other famous dinosaur movies or other famous movies that had dinosaurs in them. So The Lost World from 1925, King Kong from 1933, and the dinosaurs from Fantasia from 1940.
Yes. Oh, you want to answer your question? $5 million in 1953 is the equivalent of $57 million today.
Well, there you go. You would never need money
on a $200,000 budget in 1953,
which was $2 million. $2.2 million was $200,000.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
The artist's name was Charles R. Knight. He died 2 months before this movie was released.
Oh well, damn.
That sucks.
The dinosaur in this movie is a fictional dinosaur.
Yes, it is. It is. The Rhedasaurus.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff here on. Just go to IMDb if you want to look at some cool facts on this movie. I'm not going to go too deep. That's not really what the show is all about. We'll talk about some other stuff though as we go along. But again, Dan's talked about it a couple times. The fact that this was known to be the big inspiration behind Godzilla getting made in 1954.
Yes.
So good job. And also, but the funny thing is that because of the success of the re-release of King Kong in 1952 is what got this off the ground.
Allegedly, the rumor has it, I don't know, that somebody can correct me if this story's changed, but if I'm remembering it right, it was Tomoyuki Tanaka. The idea came to him while he was on a plane trip of Godzilla, and he had already seen, of course, he'd seen Kong, and he'd seen The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and that's kind of where it...
Love getting your inspirations from something so awesome.
Right.
And it spouted something awesome in turn. It's not just like, this inspired me, and just be like a turd, but you know.
It wasn't just a one-off inspiration. It was a major, like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's keep going with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys want to start off on this plot breakdown, let's get this going.
Great. Let's do that. Let's talk about The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms from 1953. Even though my dad always calls it The Beast from 20,000 Phantoms, and it's just what he calls it. Like, I love my dad. I'm not making fun of him. It's just what he calls it.
Listen, if it helps you remember something, go for it. I don't care what you say.
I never correct him. He just says it.
What I have to talk about though, real quick, and
sure.
is the fact that posters back in the day were fucking awesome.
Oh, holy shit, aren't they?
Why aren't posters done like this anymore? Unless they're like from independent poster artists. Like no one in Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood sucks at the current moment, but
yeah,
like I feel like all these posters that are done by like big studios are just garbage. They're just trash. It's like independent poster artists or independent artists are the ones that are making these really cool posters. But like, there's so many amazing posters just for this movie alone, and the poster for the last movie we covered, it was awesome. That's what got people to watch them. Like, to be honest, this because you'd see this poster outside the theater and you're like, fuck yeah, what the hell is that? I want to go see that. Here's my nickel.
Well,
I mean, it's like the 50s and 60s had the best.
So cool.
I feel the best art for their movies ever.
I will tout this, and I will say
even
this.
Even the 40s, late 40s.
Yes. I love poster design from this era. And there's some great posters from the 70s and 80s, like the hand-painted Star Wars and Indiana Jones posters and shit like that. One of my favorite posters of all time is from the fucking 90s. It's Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. The hand-painted, not the one that's the stills, the fucking hand-painted one, and the one of Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla from 1993 are fucking insane. I love those posters so much.
I mean, I love alternate posters.
There.
There's so much more creativity behind them. Like when I make our thumbnails for all of our podcast episodes, I try to find, independent artists posters to use as our thumbnail art because that's fucking amazing.
I bought this for him.
Dude, this rocket ship, this shit ain't even in the fucking movie. This shit is awesome.
Why is that not hung up on your wall?
I'm lazy about hanging shit up.
That needs to be in the back.
I'm afraid of putting holes in the wall. This was the first hole I ever put in this wall.
No, you don't have to put a hole in the wall. Just get some command strips.
Dude, it's so cool. Dude, this artist did all the Godzilla movies from like, I think it was Biollante in 89 up through like the mid 90s and some of the 2000 ones. It's all hand painted. It's gorgeous. I have that too.
Dan, come on, gotta hang those bitches. Get some heavy duty command strips, and you don't damage your walls. That's what I do.
So you could think this is an analogy for the movie, but I may not agree with you. The movie starts with somebody flushing a toilet. It's not. It's literally the movie starts with the fucking credits. It's like a swirling drain, and it's like Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
It's got to show you if it's in the North Hemisphere or the Southern Hemisphere. Like, which
I didn't think about that. Valid point. We start with a a narrator essentially talking. I honestly don't remember what some of this is about, but I know they're talking about an experiment in the Arctic. Is this the North Pole or the South Pole? I have no.
This is the North Pole.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because they talk about
how they goes down.
Yeah. So it's in the North Pole, and they're doing an experiment to do with something to do with nuclear weaponry, and it takes them 2 months to exactly 2 months to set it up, and it's all for like one big thing. And we have just shots of military dudes doing stuff, and a narrator, and an ice and snow, and you think you're watching The Thing.
I was waiting for them to like see this big old chasm with a building in the middle that they have to climb down into.
Yeah.
And then they find, dead people. Like, I was just waiting for that. It didn't happen.
Well, what happened? Well, they do in fact nuke Santa. So in this universe,
that's what I said. I'm like, no, not Santa.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer did not happen in 1964. We never got a year without a Santa Claus. There just wasn't a Santa Claus anymore. Just nukes the whole fucking North Pole. You get shots of just, ice, like stock shots of like ice falling into water and shit like that breaking. And
you just see the pole from the North Pole. You just see pieces of red
you see
and white.
It melt.
Like, oh.
You just see the abominable just floating face down.
Oh no!
Poor
Bumble. No,
they can bounce, but apparently they can't resist nuclear blasts. So, what are you gonna do? No more peppermint mines for Yukon. None of that stuff.
Oh,
so,
no.
See, what's he gonna mine?
Oh,
he's probably dead.
I really need someone to do this. Please just mix this scene of the nuke going off and just have the entire world of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer just getting taken out by the
Please, yeah. It'll be like the shot of the nuclear test on the buildings. Like the stock footage where they nuke the building, but it's just Santa's castle. Like,
oh no.
Everybody's watching it happen and it just flash on them and they disappear.
Oh, what the fuck's
you
this?
See one guy's who... Oh shit.
Rudolph.
I can't remember.
Damn
I just want to be that
Rudolph.
one guy who's got the binoculars as he's like looking at everything that's happening and he sees it all and he doesn't tell anyone. He's like, yep. I'm going to be scarred for life.
This is the United States military plan to destroy Christmas so they can commercialize it.
But it can't just be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You got to have Frosty in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to have...
Little Drummer Boy? No, he's in the Middle East.
No, the Island of Misfit Toys have to be in it too.
Charlie in the Box.
They're in that area. Yeah.
They're gone. They're gone.
No, ever. King Moonracer.
No. Then you would take. You take out Snow Miser.
It's okay.
Oh, he doesn't live in the North Pole.
He's close enough.
He's a god.
He's a god. He don't count. He's got no clipping.
He's watching down below going, well, fuck.
I don't think his brother was the
brother's like, yeah.
Exactly. This became a Christmas episode.
I mean, I'm a heat miser all the way. Just saying.
After the bomb goes off, a couple of the dudes on the radar get a weird reading. Like, hey, there's a big thing. It was there. Big things, as you talk about in the beginning. Big thing on the radar, and then it just disappeared. And of course, nobody believes. Like, you guys are full of shit. It was probably ice or something wrong with the antenna after the blast went off. Whatever.
It's the Yeti.
Huh?
It's the Yeti.
It's probably the Bumble's body. It's just like being flown by.
Just fell.
We get introduced to Tom. We get introduced to the other character, but he's not super relevant yet. But Tom, we get introduced to Tom. He's Science Man. Where is he from? He's got an accent. Does anybody have any idea?
I know.
It's like the actor really talks.
He's from Switzerland.
Okay, I thought so, which is weird to have a not like full-blood American Caucasian dude doing this shit.
Well, like a lot of the movies that he was in were like French films, so in that area.
Yeah, I like him. He's
like
different.
That one right there. Yeah. I'm pretty sure is German. Like
it's German.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy to think about. Like, this is a U.S. film, right? This was all done in the United States, and the lead actor is not American. The director. And the director's not American. He was Russian.
Russian born, so
yeah,
I mean he probably was familiar with people from that area.
think
Like,
it was-
not.
For the time, it's just wild to see something like
Yeah.
that. It just, I don't know, it just added an extra like cool factor to the whole movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I like hearing him talk. I think he talked. I like the way his voice.
I
was.
just want to state that this movie came out 4 years before the movie we talked about earlier this month, and this movie looks so much better visually.
Yeah, we're not even to the best
Cleaner.
parts yet. Just that even well, yeah. Well, we'll talk about the transfer and shit. Like, because you watched it on that. You watched it on your phone, right?
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it
Yeah.
in a place. Yeah.
Yeah. He watched it on his phone.
Oh, but where did we?
We'll watch the Blu-ray.
That's right.
It looks beautiful.
Forgot
I will
mine.
buy. I will be getting the Blu-ray of this movie.
Yeah, it
I just
looks
didn't.
great.
I didn't have the time to get the Blu-ray before we recorded. So
Oh, we figured we might not on such short notice, but
Because there's just a couple of scenes where I'm like, man, that's really sharp.
yeah. Well, essentially, we get introduced to Tom Nesbitt. He's our scientist guy. We were just talking about. He's in charge. He's got to go out in the field after the blast and take readings and so on and so forth. And there's a dude that works there named Loomis, Sergeant Loomis. I'm pretty sure this is Dr. Loomis. In my mind, this is Dr. Loomis. This is what he would. He'd fit the age. Listen, it would work. I'm telling you.
this is the history of Loomis. Okay, so he goes from being a doctor or a scientist in the Arctic, and hears kooky stories from his colleague about how there was a giant monster, and he's like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna go find a different thing to do." So he moves, and he runs into Marion Crane, who he gets in a relationship with her. She steals some money from her job, and then she goes to the Bates Motel, and she dies, and then he goes and figures everything out, and then after finding out his girlfriend died and all that, and getting the killer, he then is like, I'm gonna get into psychiatry because I want to deal with psychopaths, and then he becomes Michael Myers' doctor.
Exactly.
There you go.
That's
Bang,
exactly
boom.
how it's working. Thank you.
I mean,
He made the connection.
look at the roles he's played.
Listen, I looked over at this shit when the actor that played this fucking Sergeant Loomis
He's
in
in
this.
Sonic Adventure.
Dude, yes, he plays in Giant Spider Invasion, which fucking sucks. All right, the movie's terrible. We'll probably end up talking about it.
Smoke.
He was Gamma, and the original Sonic Adventure, E102 Gamma. If anybody played Sonic Adventure, the original, please tell me you know what the fuck I'm talking about. That was his last role. Good God. Anyhow, let's just keep going.
He used his voice in it.
I'll use his voice.
He passed in '93, but they used his voice.
Oh, okay, 93. Okay, I missed that. Sorry.
But they still used his voice,
Yeah,
so
no, I
it
get
was his.
It sucks, but you know, you're part of somehow in Sonic Adventure. Sometime in your life, you're like, you know what? I'm in Sonic Adventure. Anyway, so he goes out with, I don't remember the dude, Richie. Richie's the guy he goes out with, even though he calls him a different name later. I don't want to get into that, but they called him Richie.
We were watching the
subtitles.
I was like, that's
So he goes out with Richie. It's like a bunch of guys at a thing. It's him and Richie go on foot to check all these little like stations where they take readings from the blast. And Tom's like, dude, listen, I'm gonna split up. Richie, you go this way, I'll go this way. So Richie goes out. There's a storm, a blizzard coming in, and he sees the monster. Like he sees the titular Rhedasaurus. Looks fucking great, by the way. Fucking stellar. But he sees it, or he hears it first, then he sees it, and essentially it's spooked and falls into a fucking hole. And he thumps into this opening. You can like hear him when he hits the bottom. Ends up breaking his leg. So he pulls out his revolver and shoots to get Tom's attention. So Tom goes over there to help him out. He's like, hey dude, what's wrong, Richie? Richie's like, oh, I fucked up I hurt my leg. I can't walk. Like he's in terrible pain, whatever. So he's like, hey, I'll get you out. He's kind of like in this little crevasse ravine thing because it's in the Arctic, so it's all snow and ice, right? So he climbs out and goes to go get his buddies to help out. Well, the monster shows back up on top of the area above both of them and knocks all these rocks out. Just fucking murks Richie.
Oh yeah, he's just gone.
Richie just gets shit on. He gets knocked down a hole, breaks his damn leg, has to suffer for a while, and then just gets an avalanche thrown on top of him. And then apparently Tom gets injured to some extent while during this whole thing, and he passes out, or almost passes out, fires a flare, and zonks out. The dudes end up finding him, cut and bring him back to the base. And his buddy, what the fuck is his buddy's name? I always forget. Oh, Jack Evans, Colonel Jack Evans. He'll be more important later, but they essentially bring him in. The doctor checks him out. They're like, hey, we couldn't find Richie. You know, they looked all over his body. Loomis is like, I just found his revolver. I swear I grabbed it, and I'm going to go find out what did this, and I'm going to shoot him 6 times,
Didn't the subtitles, though, call him, like, David or something?
George.
His first name is George, but he calls him Richie, and the subtitles said George. I'm like...
It threw me the fuck off. I was like, who are you talking about? Is this guy's name
Who the hell is George? Where did he come from?
So this is
what was said.
This is where Loomis gets his revolver that he uses on Michael Myers. This is where it all comes from. They find Richie's revolver, and that's it. They can't find anything else. Anywho, so they transport Tom back to the States because he needs medical attention, immediate medical attention. So they take him back, get him all patched up, and he starts ranting and raving about how he saw a monster. Nobody, of course, believes him. I put it in Jack was flown to the States for repairs.
Pretty much.
I don't know why.
He's not doing so well. We need to bring him back to the States because he's pretty bad shape. Yep. I love how everybody talks in the 50s. It's great.
So
they all talk like they're on the radio.
It's so good.
Peter Graves actually was on the radio. I forgot to... He was actually a radio announcer.
No, I didn't know that.
So I think that's where a lot of the people in the 50s and 60s got their start, or
for talkies.
Either started there or ended there.
Yeah,
it was a big thing.
Damn it,
dude!
We get introduced to what? He's in Bewitched.
No, Cecil Kellaway.
Played
Santa in Bewitched.
Okay.
So there you go. There's your tie.
God. Essentially, we get more introduced to Colonel Jack, which is, of course, Tom's friend. You don't really... You see him in, like, a winter coat, and he says a few things in the Arctic, but this is where you really kind of get to know him a little bit better. And we get a few shots of...
in the Arctic say much. They're all, like, staring.
I know. They just nuke shit, check readings, get attacked by a monster. This time, it's not a dog that transforms into a monster, so... We were about 30 years off from that one.
We don't see what it transforms from. It could have.
Sure.
Could have been a dog.
It could have been. We get some shots of the monster sinking a boat. Cool shots. Really good effect shots of it taking this fucking boat out. Yes. Looks great, dude.
I love it rising out of the water, taking it out, and then of course it turns into the full stop motion, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and the boat, like, you can it's not just sink and go down. Like, the boat's fighting to stay afloat as the monster's, like, pushing. Yeah. Masterful work by Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah.
And Tom breaks out of the psych ward to go visit a paleontologist because he's like, everybody has to believe me. Nobody believes him. We get introduced to
Dr. Ellison.
There you go. Dr. Ellison, and then his assistant, which I can't think of her name either.
It's there.
Lee Hunter. Yes. Goes to talk to them. Ellison doesn't believe his story. He's like, listen, people have seen monsters for years. It's never true. Lee kind of buys into it a little bit because she knows Tom a little bit from his like lectures she's listened to. He's obviously not crazy, but
yeah. Well, the thing is like it's a lot of times where you see movies where like somebody sees something, they go and tell somebody, and it's just like, hey, you're crazy. Like we kind of get that later when that General Colonel Jack Evans goes and visits his Navy friend there that he's trying to get help from, and he's just like, "Are you sure you're all right? We got to get a straight jacket, or whatever." And it's just that typical like you're crazy. Where this one is like Elson is just kind of taking it in stride, where it's like, yes, people have for millennia talked about monsters, and he's like, well, what about all these reports? And he's just like, if we went by just a few reports, we could put those end to end and they'd reach the moon.
Yeah,
and I like that analogy there.
Yeah, and anytime Tom brings something up, Ellison has a legitimate counterpoint.
Yeah.
It's not like you said. He's not just like, you're crazy like everybody else. He's like, no. Logical explanation.
Mhm.
The easiest thing back then was to, you're crazy. Like, they put women in places
Oh
for,
yeah, or they just burned them.
for not
Not in
50s.
1950. Oh no.
Because
Uh,
this was around the time where women got lobotomies for
Oh, I know.
thinking different,
yeah.
Well, yeah, because
but not men for thinking different.
No.
So to see someone be like, a man thinking that somebody else could think differently, it's nice. It's nice to see that they just don't say, "Hey, you're crazy." Like, no, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally like, you're talking about a dinosaur that's been extinct for 100 million years. Like, it's so far out there. And he's naming off like other legends. He's like,
yeah.
it's just how the world works.
Yeah, there's a lot more
Did his
to this
research.
scene. Like you said, it's not just
Yes.
you're crazy, go away.
Yeah.
That does happen, but not with.
I
Elson.
love Dr. Elson.
Yes, I do too.
And again, they got to break my heart.
Yep.
I mean, like,
The
the guy that plays him, though.
Oh yeah. Well, he goes back to the loony bin because he just broke out to talk to the sailor.
He's like, well, I guess I gotta go back.
Yep. Shucks.
That's the easiest thing, though. It's like, no, just let him go.
Yep.
Yep.
After he ends up getting out, he meets up with Lee because Lee's like really pushing. Like, I think there might be some legitimacy to your claim.
Yeah.
So they kind of sit down and they start looking at pictures. Like, could you identify it if we showed it to you? If we showed you every pictures of every living thing we can think of, like from back then, if you could identify it, and they kind of like have some, romantic bond building, talking.
But it's
between one
not
another.
creepy and awkward like freaking
No.
the dude from the last movie who's just like, I know I created these gigantic grasshoppers, but can I stick my wee in you? And he's like, can we
Can
worry
I
about
get
the
in your
problem?
pants?
Can we figure out the problem at hand here before?
Sorry. Ladies in the 50s didn't wear pants. I get under your dress.
That's
your
true.
Skirt.
And you're right, because it seems like obviously there's some flirtation going on between them, but it's more casual. If that makes sense, they're just like hanging out doing stuff. They're like, all right, we still have a job to do here.
But it's not like the guys that are like, get over here. Like,
Yeah, none of that.
I hate
Kiss me,
those
woman.
movies where it's like, oh, I'm gonna get like right in your face
Yes.
and start flirting.
I know we just met 5 seconds ago, but hello.
Yes.
Let me take
Allow
you on
me
a
to
date.
dick you down, man. But
We're
they
gonna do something later that's has nothing to do with this. No, like I don't mind the friendly flirtation, but most people nowadays can be friendly without being flirtatious. It's just their way. Like I hate movies that just immediately go to that. like, hey,
and
we're gonna have sex later.
There's an angle to that in this movie, but it's not as shoved in your face as much as a lot of other movies of even now or
Like,
this
you
era.
can still be friends and have those conversations where it's not going to end in sex later.
Yeah,
Or,
of course.
I'm going to take you on a date. We're going to go to dinner.
Well, they find the creature. They don't have a name for it, but he identifies a picture of the obvious monster in the film. And eventually he reads more stories about various boats being sunk. It's not just like one we've seen earlier, but there's other boats that are being sunk. And Tom decides to look into some of these leads, which they are in Canada. These like couple boats that have sunk. He tries to follow up with one guy, and the dude's like, "Nah, hell with this. Like, I'm not dealing with this."
He's like, I don't understand English. Sorry.
Yep. He goes to Canada anyway after making a phone call. He fucking just goes to Canada. No luck finding the first dude because the first dude's like, I'm gonna go move as far away from people as humanly possible and just be fucking done. I was like, well, that dude's checked out. So
I'm gonna go live in a cave. Like, I don't need him.
Absolutely. I respect his choice. I'm just saying, like, he's just like, I'm out. I'm done. But he finds one of the hands from the boat we see sunk in the first boat we seen sunk. His name is I have it on here.
He was driving the first boat, right? And
Jacob. Yes.
When he's the first one to see the monster, and the captain's just like, "What are you doing, crazy man?" and grabs onto the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the boat sinks. But yeah, his name's Jacob. He does survive. He finds him, tells him he believes him. They kind of cooperate, brings them all back. and this is kind of a shaky like proof thing, but Jacob identifies the same picture
He's
as
like, "Ooh."
Tom did, and like it has to be it because
But
two people.
the
is all it
funniest
takes,
thing
right?
is that I wish we got just a small shot of the Tom there showing them like this is the one. I guess we get that when he chooses the picture and Lee's there. So I guess we didn't need that extra thing, but I wish kind of Elson was kind of brought into it.
Yeah.
So that when who's this guy? Jacob. When he picks out the picture, everybody kind of should have had like that same reaction, like, "Oh my god, that's the one." Instead, it's literally Tom is like over his shoulder, like, "Oh, that's the one. I picked that one." And he's like, it barely picks it out of the pile.
Yeah. Well, after he picks it, like Tom convinces Elson to call Jack, and Elson vouches for him. He's like, "All right, dude, I think I'm gonna say
Must be it. Must be true.
Two people. It's more than one. It can't be craziness.
It's crazy.
Random, a non-empirical test, but whatever.
This was my problem with this movie was the fact of how fast the professor's just like. And the other thing that makes this character kind of sad, and why I like this character, and it was depressing when he, gets offed, is, whatever. This movie's 70 years old. Jesus.
It is.
Is the fact that he is literally going on a vacation for like the first time in his career.
Oh
like
my
30
gosh.
years.
Yeah.
Like that just
It's like pain.
I'm like,
He's like,
yeah.
fuck this vacation. We gotta find this dinosaur because two people said that it exists.
Like nowadays everybody goes on vacation like once a year or whatever, and then he's been working for like how many years, and it's his first vacation. Like, damn.
Right. Well, we do confirm this is when we find it's the Rhedasaurus, because when he picks the picture, he's like, "Oh, it's a Rhedasaurus." You know? Obviously a fictitious dinosaur, as Parker mentioned earlier. But
he's like, it's related to that one out there, that
But
skeleton, but it's bigger. Yeah.
He knows exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's organized chaos, but it's just two people.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's been doing this for
more
a long
power
time.
to him. More power to him.
Yes. So Allison vouches for Tom. They call Jack. He's like, "Hey, listen, I got a guy." Jack's like, "Okay, I'll play along. I got a guy in the Coast Guard. I'll check into it and let you know if I find anything."
Right.
So this is where we get one of the most iconic scenes from this entire fucking movie. It's the Rhedasaurus attacks a lighthouse, which was the inspiration we talked about for the Foghorn short story. It's a great shot. It's really great work. I love the lighting.
Yes.
It's fun. It's again one of my favorite scenes.
And of course, we have to meet the two people who work in the lighthouse. We have to have a conversation with them. Yeah. And then they just tragically get destroyed.
Absolutely. That's how these movies work. At least it wasn't just a young couple making out that just abruptly get killed. That's the usual thing they go with.
Peace out, bitches.
They determine after they look at the wreckage for the lighthouse, the doctor's like, "No, there's more to this." And where some other incidents, apparently there's been other buildings that have been destroyed along the coast.
On the coast of Massachusetts.
Yes.
Parker's
Which is where this you've got to find this lighthouse. Maybe this is a real lighthouse.
So no, this lighthouse was in Maine. They said that the lighthouse was in Maine because it went from the Arctic, then the ship said it attacked was in some sort of like sea, and then it went to Nova Scotia, then to Maine, and then to Massachusetts, and it was making its way to New York because that's where that's where they found the only known skeletons of this dinosaur.
Yes, as Parker said.
I mean, we've completely bypassed Greenland and Iceland. All that whole area in between there.
That. Not important.
Ellison
determines it's moving down the Arctic Current, which, you said, is moving down the eastern side of North America.
We're just gonna cup that land.
They just decide, okay, this is probably where it's heading because of the remains you talked about. The only remains were ever found in this canyon off of New York. Mm-hmm. That they're going to get a ship and go down in a diving bell. Well, Ellison's like, "I'm fucking going in the diving bell." I mean, let the old man go. Like, the dude knows what he wants to do. Ironically, this diving bell scene is used again it may be the Giant Behemoth, but I don't remember. But for sure it is in Gorgo, which is, again, directed by the same director of this movie. Surprise! So, yeah. Anywho, So the doctor goes down, and one of the deckhands to operate the bell. They try to talk about it. He's like, "Fuck that! I'm going! Ha! If I lost my vacation for this, I better be able to go in that damn sphere or whatever." So, so he goes underwater. We get a stunning octopus versus shark scene because why not? Obviously filmed in an aquarium.
This
but
was
it works.
hilarious.
It was
hilarious. Oh.
And they do eventually, like the shark and the octopus get nommed by the Rhedasaurus.
Yep. I just love how it just superimposes the head into the scene with the shark and the octopus and just disappears.
Dude, I will say this is one of my. I think this is the scene because this is when the Rhedasaurus starts coming closer to the
yeah. It's
diving.
like you see it swimming.
Yes, and as it gets
moving.
close,
Yep.
the light hits it.
Yep.
Light hits its face, and I was like, "How the fuck did they do that with stop motion? It just looks so fucking good." And
there's a couple of scenes where it's like you just see the head, and it's like, we're just gonna cut it off of the neck.
Yeah, well, yeah. So what you mean when it's a close up of it? When it's like a puppet?
You see
there's a
nothing
puppet
else.
head. Yeah,
but it's like it's perfectly like.
Yeah,
we're gonna cut it off.
There is a puppet head, which it's okay, but the stop motion is where it's at. But this is I love this scene because this is what you talked about, alluded to, Parker, where Dr. Elson dies. But he's so invested in his work that he's literally breaking the creature down about the differences between what they know and what it actually is, as it is literally eating the sphere he's in. Like he's like talking about it like, oh, the dorsals, there's not two of them. It's it's not bilateral, single down the spine strip or whatever. Yep. And like all this shit, I was like, they're actually using some proper anatomical terms when they're describing the creature. And he's like, oh, going, and the line just cuts on it. Yep. You never see the bathysphere get destroyed. It just, the communication just cuts.
And then you get a newspaper clipping showing that he's missing. Or
old man ice in Antarctic.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
But after we find out, like literally after you find out he dies, the Rhedasaurus just fucking shows up in New York.
Yep.
Just fucking hops up on the dock and he's like, yeah, baby, let's go.
Yep. He knows him. It ain't his first round.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but like, there's no like, oh, like, let's mourn the doctor. Like, immediately, let's mourn the doctor. No, it's just like fucking Rhedasaurus time, baby.
It's that whole scene. I've seen scenes before.
Or was that morning scene come up? Is it before or after he attacked him?
Right there is what I'm talking about, where it's just a cut off head.
Yep.
But no, there's like scenes in other movies where you see this whatever lizard-esque monster swimming underwater, and all of a sudden it's on land. Like it doesn't even go up out of the water. It's just like
yeah, it's just the people on the dock, and then like the Rhedasaurus like comes up out of the water, like, ah, shit. That's a lot of fish. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a different movie. Anyway, but no, like I think we do have a scene where they mourn the doctor because Lee talks about it. Is that now or is it later? I can't remember.
I think it's just more of it was more of her. She was the one because they were like back at his office and she was packing up his bag and she's like, "Oh, this was packing his bag up differently than what it should have been packed up like," or something like that because he was supposed to go on vacation. And yeah, it was a small scene where he comforts her.
Yeah, it's there, and I just want to mention. I don't remember if I put it in the notes, but essentially we get this awesome scene of just beautiful full-on effect shots of the Rhedasaurus going through New York, and you'll see shots where they blend the stop motion shots in with live action shots of the street, and they look fucking phenomenal. Like they're so well blended. Like obviously you could tell there's a little bit of a difference for a film this age on the Blu-ray. It looks fantastic.
I mean, when you're watching it in HD, which was not the intended purpose at the time to watch it, you're gonna notice those like imperfections. But yeah, I mean, this movie looked fantastic.
Well, I was gonna say I even give it more credit because usually movies like this, when they go to HD, you notice it more. And I didn't think you noticed it nearly as much as you should have from a movie of this age.
I know because I know what you're talking about. Because he's like walking over cars and crushing them, but behind him is actual, city streets.
Yeah, it's just, and then you get that one cop, fucking balls of steel, dude. He's like, this dude had to be loaded,
and he did not know how to shoot a gun to save his life.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, let me reload and just fucking stand here.
We're just gonna
I
It
love
just
it
gets-
though. I love the how well it blended of the beast grabbing him and the way that they were able to show it. Little legs are flailing.
Yeah,
Ah!
just sneaks and- God, dude, this is Ridley was up here, our youngest son, and he's like, "Look at this crappy CG." I was like, "Son, this isn't CG. It's stop motion." He's like, "Look at this crappy stop motion." I was like, "Son, get your face out of your phone for a second and really look at this." I said, "This dude literally every one of these. He had to do 24 individual shots per second." And I had to break all that down for him to do because for those of you that don't know, most movies are filmed at 24 frames a second to give the whole cinematic look. Not all of them, but most of them are. And
a lot of kids these days have never been introduced to stop motion.
yeah, he's not really seen it. I had to explain to him.
He's not been.
Look how smooth this works. This is a fucking skeletal structure, a skeletal structure with clay and other stuff built around it, and is moved very minutely.
Yeah.
It takes so much work to do what this man did, and it looks gorgeous, and it's a real thing.
I know.
And it looks wonderful.
I have told them about that because we went and watched Nightmare Before Christmas in theater, and I'm like, you realize this is individually moved every frame.
He kind of got it after that when he watched it a little bit more. I don't know if he said it for me, but I'm just like,
I don't think the whole frames
register
clicked
yeah
right away. Like he's one of those that it has to be explained, and then he's like,
because he likes learning how things work. So like that's why I tried to break it down. And he's like, how many scenes is that? I was like, well, 24 times 60, that's a minute.
Yeah.
And then you take, that times, it was 80 minutes. It's an 80-minute movie. It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Right.
So I mean, it was a ridiculous amount.
He's one of those that if you explain it to him, like I say that to some people, there are people that get it when you explain how to make a bowl of cereal. You don't have to say, step by step on how to make a bowl of cereal. He is one of those that he needs to know
every step of the way.
Grab the spoon, grab the bowl, grab the cereal. Like he needs to know that.
Yeah.
And he'll actually look that up himself. Like he'll come to us and he'll be like, "Did you know this?"
It's so funny.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm glad you are actually looking into that because a lot of kids at 9 years old would not look into that."
But this is just scenes of carnage. This is great stuff. It's all good effects work. You get some shots of police officers coming up with shotguns, shooting at it. And there's a scene where just the Rhedasaurus is trying to get away from the cops, just plows through a fucking building, just clean through it.
You don't need this anymore.
After its first initial attack, you start getting newspaper things come up. And I wrote some of these numbers down. It was 800. It was 180 dead, 1,500 dead found. 1,500 injured, and it said $300 million in damage. Well, I just did the estimate on the calculator a little bit ago. That's $3.5 billion in damages. So in today's money.
Yeah, and then you have the radio announcer who's talking about the situation. And he's like, it's something that man has never seen before. And I love the old timey radio.
Oh
guys.
yeah. And they're so brutal about it. We talked about it in them when they're super brutal about people died and tore apart and shit like that. And I was like,
I just want to hear the radio announcers with the whole Morse code. I want to hear that. Because you hear, I've watched a lot of those where you hear the radio announcers and they're sending Morse code and I just want to hear that.
This is when we get to see the doctor who's realizing that people are being they have radiation poisoning.
Yeah, the monster's blood is toxic.
Yeah.
It's fucking sweet. There's an angle we didn't expect in this movie.
No.
Yeah, because they end up injuring it too, because they shoot the bazooka in the lower part of its neck and it causes it to bleed. And you'll see it's shows them walking, there's puddles of blood in the street.
Yep.
Soldiers just start falling down.
Just
Could you imagine?
It's tasty.
Could you imagine if this was a giant puppy?
Puppy?
Everybody wouldn't be running from it.
That's true. They just get eaten by it. I love you, puppy.
I need to pet you.
It's Clifford.
I mean,
Clifford will paint the streets red.
how big was Clifford the Big Red Dog? He was quite large.
That's what I'm saying.
And everybody wanted to love him, and he destroyed things because he was so large.
I like the shot of and I like the shot of him on the roof where they've got like that turret.
Yep.
And this monster's in the street, and he like shoots it in the head, and it won't go through its skull, and it just kind of reacts and
He's like,
fucking runs.
we're gonna need a
off.
3-inch shell to get through that skull.
Yep. And it ends up disappearing and ends up in an amusement park nearby.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the roller coaster, just tearing it apart.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
Just hanging out. And this is where Tom gets the idea that we can kill it with a radioactive isotope, because with its blood being toxic, they can't just blow it up.
Yeah.
They blow it up, it's going to spread toxins everywhere.
And
If
also they can't burn
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's going to go into the atmosphere, and who knows what the fuck that's going to do. So they figure if they kill it with radiation, essentially, just keep it as a whole, even though the body will eventually break down and deteriorate, and they'll have to worry about all that fallout. But if they can stop it from moving and kill it in a single spot, that's the idea. And the idea is that since it's got the open wound on its chest from a rocket, that they're going to get a sharpshooter to shoot the isotope inside the creature and kill it.
Yep.
And this is the line I always remember from this movie. He's like, trying to think of how it goes. He's like, remember, you only got one shot at this. This is the only isotope of this kind, this side of Oak Ridge, so you can't miss. And Oak Ridge is not far from where we fucking live. And for those of you that don't know, Oak Ridge played a huge part in the construction of the bombs for the Manhattan Project. So it's literally like 100 miles from us.
We
80 miles?
we are right outside of the zone to evacuate.
Yeah. So I just like the Oak Ridge reference, and I've always loved that line in this movie. Funny that when I was a kid or younger, I heard it, and then I actually live near it now. So, fun. They ride the roller coaster, and I put roller coaster, wee, in my notes. Because they tried to shoot it from the ground, but the creature's inside the intersection of the
literally,
of the
he
roller
aims
coaster.
up, and he's like, nah, can't do that. Like,
And this, by the way, this is the sharpshooter we were talking about, Corporal Stone,
Yep.
Lee Van Cleef. This is his appearance. And not in the movie much. He says a few lines, and that's about it. And then shoots the pew-pew gun. They wear those
So
old school...
all you need is to make your name known.
well, he did some other stuff before this, but this is the earliest one I remember.
How many times was Arlie Ermy and stuff, and it was just for like 5-10 minutes, and he was done, and you're like,
I forgot Lee Van Cleef was in It Conquered the World, the giant alien cactus that uses little flying stingrays to mind control people. yes, real thing. I don't know if we'll cover it because I don't consider them.
Giant cactus that uses stingrays.
Hey, you made mention
like
when we first
stingrays
started
from
this.
the ocean.
No, yeah, it's an alien cactus that shoots flying stingrays that mind controls people.
You made mention when we first started the Monster Zone that it did not have to be.
It's true. We can do it. It conquered the world.
I will add it to our list.
I always get it mixed up because it's It Conquered the World, It the Terror from Beyond Space, and the monster that challenged the world. I get mixed up sometimes. But anyway,
I will add it right now.
I jokingly put the roller coaster kills the dinosaur, and then it starts on fire. So they're up on top of this. Did you put it on there?
Have it challenged the world.
It challenged the world, or it's supposed to be the monster that challenged the world, but that's the giants. That's the one with the giant killer snails. It's a thing. I promise.
We'll get it on.
I covered it on my old YouTube show. But anyway,
Tin Matango too.
While they're on top of the roller coaster and the monster starts flailing around, the cart that they rode up starts moving and they can't stop it, so they lost their ride down, so they got to walk back down. Well, once the cart falls off, it hits some conveniently placed oil drums. It catches the whole wooden roller coaster on fire. The guys end up getting off. The Rhedasaurus breaks out from around the roller coaster and does a very convincing kind of like death animation where it starts like falling and it falls over and it moves a little bit and tries to get up and just flops over. And then we got the titular, like we talked about in all these other movies, where it just
ends.
The end. The movie's like, it's actually really similar to the ending of Black Scorpion, where it's just the corpse of the creature.
Yep.
And it's like the end.
I love how they all everyone's hugging before the monster even falls. Everybody's
We
like, good
got
job,
him!"
we did it. And the monsters are like,
Yeah, like, how do you know this even worked yet? Let's fucking hold our horses here, folks.
That's great.
Celebrate early.
Go off too early. Ladies don't like that. Or people, I'm sure there's dudes that don't like that either. But anyhow, let's get to what do you guys think of the movie?
This was a huge improvement from the first movie we covered this month. It had an amazing creature design and work by Ray Harryhausen. It had interesting and likable characters who weren't just, it wasn't just a dude trying to get in the girl's pants. It was like a problem occurred and everybody was working together to try to come up with a solution. This movie looks amazing for 70. Oh, yeah. It's 70 years old this year, which is just insane. And the fact that it influenced so many movies going forward. I mean, the fact that it influenced, the creation of Godzilla and, all these other monster movies throughout the years. It's an influential movie. It's iconic. So I think just Ray Harryhausen's monster design alone makes me love this movie. It's so good.
Yes, as I say a lot, so good. That's my thing. I guess that's my catchphrase. So good. Okay.
I'm pretty sure this isn't the first time that we have watched this.
No. I had the DVD and then I bought the Blu-ray of it. It's not the first time you've seen this movie. Whether you remember it or not, it's not the first time.
There's not a lot that I remember. I could remember scenes from movies, but actually physically watching them, there's a lot that I don't. My brain just like.
Oh, I hear you there.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I know I've watched it. I enjoyed it again. I mean, we always watch our movies MST3K style. Like, we make comments. He may not write them down. I may not write them down. I may not remember making the comment. But I enjoyed it. Even now. Watching it. Just seeing. You do that and it makes me think that I'm like ranting or something.
No, I'm just rubbing your arm. You're totally fine.
You make me think like I'm ranting or something.
You're not ranting.
It's okay.
No, I just want to rub the back of your arm. That's what
I know. Just wait.
Carry on.
Do that when I'm not telling my opinions on something. No. Watch it. Please watch it.
Yes.
You won't regret it.
I don't. Go ahead.
I didn't grow up watching these movies, so seeing them as an adult, it's like, gosh, I missed out on a lot, as a kid, because I know what my mom likes. Not so much my dad. He's a different breed. I don't think he really likes movies. Mom loves movies, so learning what she likes, I'm like, why didn't you not introduce me to this stuff, when we were kids? Like, I would have loved it. Like, there's certain things that I remember catching on TV. I remember being sick. I was homesick from school for a week. I had the flu. And I hated it because I couldn't get out of bed without being nauseous. And it came to the point where I had to get my hair cut because I had this huge knot in the back of my head. But I remember watching all these shows and all this stuff that I wouldn't have been allowed to watch, but it just happened to be on TV, and I couldn't get up and change the channel. I was, I begged my mom to come rub my back one time so I wouldn't throw up, and I still threw up in the floor. So it's
love you, Mom. Sorry.
But no, it's like a lot of things you remember your brother and sister saying. Like, my sister was home from school with me because my parents couldn't stay home, and she was talking to a friend, and I remember her saying, she actually seems sick. And here I am sitting at the table. I'm like this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sick.
I'll have to tell you about. We were talking about that today at work, but I'll tell you when we get done.
But it's like I see certain things, and it's certain things that it catches your memories of certain shows that you watch, and you're like, yeah, they mentioned this, and I'm like, why was I not allowed to watch this? This wasn't bad. But you get those references from kids shows, and I'm like, I don't remember watching this. Why wasn't I allowed to watch this? It didn't have anything bad in it. The 50s didn't really have no language.
Not really, no.
No. You hear of deaths, but you don't really see them.
No, not really.
There's really not a lot of blood or gore. It's
Yeah.
just people die. You either hear about it or you see it, but it's not violent.
Yeah, it's made very impersonal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, gosh, I missed out on a lot. Because there were certain shows that I watched, it was kids shows, and they make mention of certain things that it kind of triggers that. Watching this stuff now, I was like, well, shit. Could have watched this.
Yeah. That's why you got to make up for it now.
Yeah. Like, there were certain shows that I watched, and it had, like, at the end of the show, pictures that kids had drawn. And the host would talk about what they had drawn. And I was like, what that is? And I see these movies, you know, in the last... We've been together over 15 years. And I'm like, so that's what they were talking about. So, you know. But yeah, definitely watch it. Stop it.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Before I get into much of a...
I just want to poke your side.
You're touching me again. Like,
All right, I'll stop her. I'm harassing my wife.
It's okay.
I'm not doing that. I just wanted to poke you.
Feel.
I'm sorry. Anyway, I enjoy this movie a lot, and I think people should watch it because I don't think enough people do. I think this is as much as shit this is inspired. It's like King Kong, like he's of course inspired a lot of stuff, but like Beast from 20,000 Fathoms is nobody talks about.
Right.
Like I think it's an underappreciated film, even though I know it's a classic because a lot of people know about it, but I don't think as many people know about it as they should. I really like the characters. Even like you guys talked about the romance. The closest we get is when Lee kisses Tom on the cheek later in the movie. And that's it.
Yep.
Which not every 50s movie has to be about the man getting in a woman's pants.
No, it doesn't. And you can tell there's a romance, and Lee even mentions it to Elson in the movie. Or Elson mentions it to Lee in the movie, not getting in the way of romance. Because obviously he knows that Lee likes him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. It just wasn't a focal point, and that's what I appreciate. And there was a little bit, you may say it dragged a little bit when he was, you know, hunting the dude down, you know, to get there about proving he was right about the monster. Just a little bit. You may say that. I think it was fine. The movie was an hour and 20 minutes. Like we said, the effects were fantastic. I love anything stop motion because I grew up with stuff like this, and even now, I appreciate when a movie or director or anything's ballsy enough to use it in this day and age. It's good. It's wonderful. I think it's paced really well. The monster stuff's good. Of course, you see it really early in the movie. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, it's not a common thing. Usually, or not. I didn't mention it. We were talking candidly, and usually that's you get alluding to the monster, but they actually show it early. But yeah, you just guys just need to see it. If you haven't, just fucking watch it. It's the Blu-ray's worth it. If not, rent it somewhere for like $3. Since it's a better known movie, it's not free anywhere that I can think of. So.
And you're not watching a car from across the road.
Yes.
At the end of the road, drive towards you.
You just see the monster pick a car up in its mouth and throw it, though. That does happen.
Which is good.
With a guy in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
just wait till that happens.
He didn't have
again.
time to get out of it.
But anyway,
Good
is there
job.
anything else you guys like to add?
Watch it.
So we're all in a concurrence about watching it, or
This is probably my favorite movie we've covered on the show so far.
Very nice.
It's
I
very close between this and them.
Yeah, I think those ones are really close together for me for sure. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for this one. I don't know. I think this one might be one of our slightly longer episodes. But it'll be worth it. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. So definitely check this one out. And we appreciate you guys for coming on. Yep. So thank you, Mr. Parker. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you, wife. And
No, thank you.
and no problem. I tried. I didn't make the movie. But
This was more of a you kind of.
I wanted this so bad, but I'm glad we got to talk about it.
I just helped
I appreciate it.
plant that seed.
There's some other big, really good Harryhausen shit that's on our wheel we haven't got to yet.
There's so much.
We'll get to it. But you guys, thank you very much. We appreciate you all. I'm Dan, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.